modern breadcrumb trail from a family spiraling toward the end. On March 24th, they were captured on surveillance video at a Walmart in Oregon. Sarah Hart is seen buying groceries. But more ominously, she purchased a generic brand Benadryl. This purchase would later become a cornerstone in the forensic evidence. The family continued south into California, reaching the coast. The erratic nature of their travel suggests indecision or perhaps a search for the right location. They weren't visiting tourist spots. They were drifting. Phone records indicate that Jennifer Hart, who was driving, was using her phone to search for information. But she wasn't looking for hotels. She was looking for silence. The timeline becomes hazy here. A period of lost hours where the children were likely contained within the vehicle, confused and terrified. On the morning of March 26th, around 3 a.m., the GPS data places the Yukon parked in a gravel turnout just off Highway 1 near Westport, California. They sat there for some time. It is chilling to imagine the conversations or lack thereof in that car. The ocean was roughly 100 feet below them. It was dark. The only light was coming from the moon or the dashboard. This was the staging area for the final act. Sometime in the early morning, the vehicle was put into motion. The event data recorder, or black box recovered later from the wreckage, told a mathematical story of murder. The SUV started from a standstill. The accelerator was pressed to the floor, 100% throttle. The vehicle accelerated toward the cliff edge. There was no tapping of the brakes, no hesitation. The speedometer climbed as they raced over the dirt, aiming for the precipice. The discovery came later that day when a passerby noticed the vehicle upside down on the rocks. When the first California Highway Patrol officers arrived, they found Jennifer and Sarah deceased in the front seats. Marcus, Jeremiah, and Abigail were found deceased outside the vehicle. But 3 children, Hannah, Devontae, and Sierra, were missing. The ocean had claimed them. The investigation was a massive undertaking involving multiple state agencies. The first order of business was the search for the 3 missing children. For weeks, divers braved the dangerous currents, and searchers combed the beaches. Eventually, the remains of Sierra, and much later, a foot belonging to Hannah, were found. Devontae Hart, the boy whose hug had gone viral, has never been found. As the physical search continued, the forensic investigation began to dismantle the accident theory. The autopsy and toxicology reports were devastating. Jennifer Hart, the driver, had a blood alcohol level of 0.102, over the legal limit. But even more damning was the toxicology for Sarah and the children. Sarah Hart had a toxic level of Benadryl in her system. The children, too, had high concentrations of the drugs in their body. They were sedated. They were likely unconscious or too groggy to fight back when the car accelerated. Digital forensics provided the final irrefutable proof of intent. Investigators executed search warrants on the family's home in Woodland and seized computers and phones. They recovered deleted search history of Jennifer's phone during the drive. The searches were chillingly pragmatic. Benadryl dosage for 120 pounds. Can 500 milligrams of Benadryl kill a woman? How long does it take to die from hypothermia? And no-kill shelters for dogs. These were not the searches of a stressed mother. They were the research of a killer planning a massacre. The breakdown of the black box data from the GMC Yukon corroborated the digital and medical evidence. The vehicle had stopped about 70 feet from the edge, then accelerated rapidly, reaching approximately 20 miles per hour before launching off the cliff. There were no mechanical failures. The steering was straight, the throttle was pinned. This evidence bridged the gap between a suspicion and a certainty.